Chapter 3, Be the woman who sets and gets your goals. Now you have the results from the archetype quiz. You'll know if you are an aware, explorer, leader, or aligned woman. You'll have chosen and commenced your daily deep dive that suits you, your values, goals, and lifestyle, and not outsourced it to some coach or self-professed guru telling you what to do and how to do it. Here is a checklist for the visual people to check off before you move on. So if you turn to page 42, there is a checklist there. The first thing on the checklist is archetypes quiz, and then the daily deep dive, then attune to your whisper, and then the alignment audit. If you're doing all of the above, or all of those things, you will have a solid foundation to build on. If you haven't, you're cutting corners and you need to go back to the start and commit to doing the simple things well. You need to build trust within yourself and be the woman who does what she says she is going to do. Start with the small stuff first, because if you can't do the small stuff, the big stuff won't matter because you'll be frazzled, frenetic, and unfulfilled. Once the boxes are ticked, you are ready to set and get your goals. It is my intention by the end of this chapter, you will be able to set any goal you desire and achieve it in a very efficient and timely manner. Whether it's to publish your own book, start your own podcast, buy your dream house, or lose 10 kilos, you will follow my formula to birth and live your dream reality into the physical. Many people avoid setting goals because they're scared of not reaching them, or that they will be disappointed if they fall short, or even worse, completely fail. The inner perfectionist is terrorizing you right now, I bet, telling you it's got to be perfect to start. My ducks have got to be in a row. I hear that a lot. In this chapter, I'm going to share my methodology with you that I personally use and has been very successful for me and so many of my clients. If you're wondering why you should listen to me and what credibility I've got and the other ladies in this book, listen on to hear some of my personal aligned accomplishments. Notice how I called it aligned accomplishment, not just success. Aligned accomplishment. That's the word I use for goals. I am not sharing this to brag. I'm sharing this to show you what is possible when you create or find the best process for you. Okay, so I've published my best-selling trilogy, Rise Up, The Soulful Guide to Success, Millionaire Mum, The Best of Both Worlds, and The Aligned Woman's Way. Each of my books has an audio version, and my daughter Esme, who was 8 at the time, features in my second book as the chapter reader outer. It's the cutest thing. You've got to go listen to it. I've recorded season 3 of my podcast, which to date has nearly 200 episodes on my podcast, The Aligned Woman's Way. I created a podcast product where I've, up to today, supported over 30 women globally, all over the world, to launch their own podcasts. I've hosted and continue to hold sold out signature retreats for the past 4 years. And we have people travel from all over the world, internationally and internationally, to attend our retreats. I sold several potent and powerful online courses, our signature course, which I've mentioned to you, being the Aligned Woman Academy. I've built out and launched my own Those Two Sisters app. So we have our own app where we run all of our courses out of, put our hypnosis library on, and so much more. I've designed a sterling silver jewelry range called the Ascension range. I've created a deck of pixie cards, affirmation cards. I have customized my own Fit Family protein blend, and I have to date 10 affiliate marketers on board. I am hired as a keynote speaker, world-class, well-paid, getting paid thousands of dollars to speak to people. That's a dream come true. I've written high-end masterminds and weekly sister share newsletters for the last 2 years straight, and I've built out our mindset library, meditation and hypnosis library, gone on national and international speaking tours, speaking all over the world. I've also made time for girls' weekends away with my friends and my peers, and made plenty of time for family, sailing, skiing, school drop-offs and pickups, and obviously I get the school holidays off to create memories with my family. So there are some of the main things And there is also there's so much more. They're the main things. My hope is that by reading them out to you, it will give you a good indication that I know I am the woman that knows how to set and then get my goal, and I can show you how. The first thing I will admit is that it was not through the outdated SMART method. Personally, I find that very confusing, boring, and old-fashioned. It's not designed for a creative visual person like me. And after being taught this method, the SMART method, at personal development seminars and reading about it in books, I ended up like feeling like there was something wrong with me because it just didn't work for me. I couldn't succeed. So I was like, instead of looking at the method and going, maybe that's not the method that's best for a creative visual, I was like, there's something wrong with me. It's my fault. What am I doing wrong? Until I realized, right? So I did it several times and I failed every time. So clearly it just wasn't the method for me. Each time I ended up fumbling, failing, giving in, thinking I was either crap, doing it wrong, or that there's something fundamentally wrong with me. I believed that for years. Tell me now, whisper or wounding. Something wrong with you. Definitely wounding. It was very disheartening, as with each time I tried and came up short, I started to believe things like, so this then became the beliefs that I started to look at the world through, and maybe you'll resonate with some of these. I can't set and get my goals. I'm lazy. I don't know how. I don't deserve it. People like me, little small town girl from Ipswich, don't do things like that. It's my fault. I'm not doing it properly. Something is wrong with me. Whisper or wounding? Definitely wounding on loop. Around and around and around and around, again and again and again and again. I'm useless. I can't do it. Something's wrong with me. It's my fault. Anyway, that created a whole lot more fumbling, fluffing around the sidelines, and finding more evidence and excuses proving that I was not like the other ladies that I see in the business world, kicking off their goals, sharing their magic, and just getting shit done. That success was for them and not for me. That was a hard pill to swallow. I didn't want that to be my truth. This is how a lot of my clients feel before they start working with me or learning the method that I'm about to show you. I've worked with so many women that felt like I just explained until I taught them my method. I designed it for women like us, and the whole process will tick every learning style. It covers all of the learning styles, being visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So I'd love to hear from you. What has been your goal setting journey so far? In the personal development world, have you done this, that, and the other, and it hasn't worked, and then you created those beliefs for yourself? Perhaps you've been using an outdated method or a boring method, or one that's just simply not designed for your personality type, which catapults you into a whole lot of excuses like it did for me, procrastination, distractions, and limiting beliefs that just simply are not the truth. If you are not regularly and continuously setting and getting your goals, I promise you, there is nothing wrong with you. You're not lazy and you do deserve it. You just haven't discovered the style that suits you yet, or the goals are coming from your wounding and not your whisper. The method that I'm about to show you is life-altering and will revolutionize your relationship with goal setting in all areas of your life. I've witnessed so many of my clients now, and they come to me burnt out, exhausted, forcing things, and simply by changing their perspective, approach, and implementing my inspired action model, which I'm going to go through with you in a moment, they've revitalized and been born back from the dead, literally, in their life, business, and within their purpose and their passion. I have the absolute privilege of seeing and supporting daily my clients to create the most incredible life-giving goals, from things like publishing their own books, launching their podcast, hosting their own retreats, manifesting dream relationships, building big businesses, winning prestigious awards, connecting and healing childhood trauma, buying their dream homes or selling homes and buying a caravan to travel the country, to losing weight, setting up financial structures and going from living in the red to having savings in their bank account, having courageous conversations with loved ones, pinpointing their purpose and finding their thing in life, and so much more. Can you even imagine how good it feels to be a part of that for somebody, even just a slither or a small part? Like, women living and giving life goals that breathe hope and possibility through the collective, through the community. An energetic breath that, like a gust of wind, reaches all four corners of the earth, like a wave that ripples out through the community, igniting that spark in others. That is deeply fulfilling. As I supported so many women through this model, these are a few common untrue thoughts that pop up along the way that we need to address before I spill the beans on my magic goal setting model. Okay, so I'm going to share maybe some things that are rolling around in your head from your wounding that just simply aren't true, but they need to be noticed and accepted and moved through so we can hear the whisper. Number one is the right time. You might find yourself saying things like, waiting to get my ducks in a row. So you want to do something. No, first of all, know what the goal is. I just gave an example of a few of the ladies I've worked, publishing books, launching podcasts, hosting a retreat, manifesting a dream relationship, like calling in a lover, or maybe even staff or clients or whatever type of relationship, building your business, winning an award, connecting and healing childhood trauma. Maybe you want to buy a home or sell your home and go around the country in a caravan. You might want to lose weight, get fit and healthy, set up the financial structures to support you and have you be financially independent. Maybe you're in the red and you want to go to having some savings in the bank account and having some structure and safety around that, or having courageous conversations with loved one, that thing sitting under the surface that you want to say to that thing, to that person that's causing resentment, but you just don't know how. Or pinpointing your purpose. You may feel like you're not on purpose, but you've got a lot to offer the world. But whatever it is, make sure you know the goal. That's one of the keys, aligned accomplishment. What is the thing that you want? And yeah, we hear people say, waiting to get my ducks in a row. It's not the right time. When this happens, then I'll start. And if this is your underlying thought pattern, you may feel like you're never really ever ready to complete anything. You probably procrastinate and you find yourself doing a lot without getting much done. I'm going to say that again for you ladies out there that are doing a lot. You're very busy, but you ain't getting much done. This thought process and language creates a void and does not build trust within yourself, as you're relying on outside circumstances like time to dictate when to start. And let's face it, there's always going to be something big or some bloody crisis or excuse on why you can't start. I know because I've done it too. The truth, however, the truth is there is never a best time to start. There is only the right time, and that right time is now. Like now in this moment. That is a big frame for what I'm about to speak to you about. This now moment, okay? So number two, people might think, I'm speaking to you perfectionists out there, the need for perfection. Perfectionists often hold themselves to an extremely high standard. How do I know? Because I'm not one. And can be prone to overthinking and self-criticism, which can sometimes hinder you from taking action. You perfectionists, you might hear yourself saying things like, it's not good enough yet. I can't launch that program. I can't publish that book because there's spelling mistakes in it. You guys are going to find a bloody spelling error in this big book for sure. It's not good enough yet. This audiobook, I have stumbled, I don't even know how many times already, but I'm getting it done. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. I need more information. You might need to, I need to do more research. No, you don't. Just start. Or the other thing is it has to be perfect. It's got to be perfect before anyone sees it. No, it doesn't. It's a work in progress. Part of being a perfectionist is demanding perfection, which makes it challenging to start or finish anything. I could write a whole book on this. Start or finish anything as you expect impossibly high standards from yourself and others that simply just can't be met. So you loop and you never really start, or if you do, you never finish anything, and that can be very disempowering. The truth, however, this is the truth. Done is better than perfect. Obviously, it depends on your industry. If you are a brain surgeon, please make sure, or a pilot, my husband's a pilot, please make sure it's perfect before you start. If you are a woman listening to this book that's not in one of those like precision industries, which is probably most of us, right? Because I'm attracting ladies like you, done is better than perfect. You can't, I used to say to myself about the books when I had so much fear on my first book, like you can't edit nothing, just get started. So done is better than perfect. You can't edit nothing, do something and you can perfect it later. I often find myself saying, this is one of my sayings, it's perfectly, because I definitely have a perfectionist in there somewhere, it's perfectly imperfect. Write that down if you've got a pen and paper. And that is enough to keep the perfectionist in me contained. It's perfectly imperfect. Try it. Okay, number 3. Plenty of you will be doing this. I know I did for many years. The underqualified or in the dark narrative. So you're saying things like this to yourself. I don't know yet. I don't know how. I am very well versed in this, believe it or not. I don't know how. I'm not qualified. Actually, I don't really give a shit about qualifications. I don't have any of my qualifications up on my walls because I think life has, for what I do, the work I do, life has qualified me, probably for what you want to do as well. So I don't know how. I'm not qualified. I'll probably stuff it up. I mess everything up. I need more knowledge and training. The amount of time people have said that to me, yes, in some industries, not with most of the women that I work with. You do not need another course or another training. Just need to pull your finger out of your butt, do your daily deep dive, listen to yourself, trust yourself, follow this method and get the thing done. Because it's not just about you anymore, is it? I'll keep reading the book. I won't go off on a tangent. Another big one I hear is I might look like an idiot in front of my friends and family if I try. People might think I'm an idiot. What will people think? What will people think of me? That's huge. And I know you've heard all these before, and I know you've probably thought all these before, but it's these recurring thoughts that it is likely you will avoid taking the action because you'll lack the confidence and you're uncertain about your abilities. It's not coming from a place of certainty. You're shaky, you're unsure. So we're going to replace that with the truth. Good. I'm glad you don't know how to do it, because if you did know how to do it, you would have already done it. Personally, I pick goals on purpose that I don't know how to do because otherwise I get bored, and you can too. The other truth in this, it is not about the how, it is about the now. And like I said, I've got that printed on a mouse pad that I give away to people. When people come to our retreat, sometimes you'll find them in the goodie bags. It is not about the how, it is about the now. And the other truth, reverse engineer it into bite-sized chunks until you get a task that meets your skill level and is manageable. And then that you can do immediately right now, and then stack that with several other of those tasks, and you will be on the train full steam ahead. Okay, number 4. I hear this one so many times as well, guys. I have so many ideas, I don't know where to start. So you're amazing and you're full of all these incredible ideas, but that's no good to you because you've got so many, you're not taking action on any of them. I heard someone say that to me the other day and I just smiled. They weren't asking for my opinion. So I just smiled, took a deep breath in and out and kept smiling and kept listening. I have learned, don't give my opinion, even as a coach, unless someone asks for it. So anyway, I have so many ideas, I just don't know where to start. You may find yourself saying things like this. So these are clues. If you've heard yourself saying this, or your friends are saying this, or your peers are saying this to you, this is possibly what's going on for them. 1, I don't know where to start. It's because you've got too many ideas. You just need to start somewhere. Actually, I won't give you the truth yet. I'll just give you the recurring thought. I don't know where to start. I have so many ideas. I can't handle this all at once. I can't do the next thing while I'm working on this thing. These people are procrastinators often. I'll do it later. Got so much on, I'll do it later. Or I'll just check my emails and my social media for a minute. Find something else to do that I can get a dopamine hit from and feel successful in the moment. The truth here is pick one thing and commit to it until it's full completion. Otherwise, 5 years later, they will all still be rolling around in your head. You'll be frustrated at yourself. You'll be frustrated with everybody around you. Become someone who subscribes to commitment to completion. Write that down if you've got a pen and paper. Commitment to completion, and do not start the next thing, particularly in the first few times you do this process, until the first one is complete, even if it's something small. Start with something small. Because I've done this a few times now, I can sometimes be doing 2 and 3 of big projects, aligned accomplishments at once. I probably shouldn't do that. Just stay focused on the one thing. But now I have a team, and Michelle there is the support person in terms of the collateral and all the background, I can manage it, but it does get exhausting. So just pick one thing and do that until completion. Okay, and the final one here before we actually go into the magic is the inability to get started. You're going to hear yourself saying things like this. I just don't know where to start. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. I just don't have enough time right now. Nobody does. Just do it. I'll ask for somebody else's guidance. I'll ask this person what they think. Oh, I do this a lot. I didn't realize it until I actually wrote this content, but I'll go out and find someone I think knows more about that topic and kind of outsource my power to them. And then I'm waiting to hear back for them or waiting for some validation for them. And that's external. That is my wounding. That is not my whisper. My whisper is like, beautiful, you know what your aligned accomplishment is. You may not know the how, but you know if you do this process, you'll know the next step. So note here, all the women you will hear from later in these chapters have thought at least one and most likely several of these things that I've just told you about, and probably do, I shared my experience that I have and I still do, have moments of thinking the things that I just offered up. I often find myself still doing it. The difference, the key here that you want to write down, that you want to take note, bold it, highlight it in your mind or under paper, is the difference is we notice it, we meet it, and we transform it. Now, if you would like to add rocket fuel to this chapter, which if you're listening to this book, I'm suspecting that you do, go over to Spotify right now and tune into podcast episode number 151. It's called Do You Struggle with Goal Setting? It's going to frame you for the whole next chapter. So press pause on this one. You're probably already on Spotify. If you're listening to this on another thing, go to Spotify, Aligned Woman Way, season 2, episode 151, Do You Struggle with Goal Setting? And listen to that before you listen to the rest. Press pause if you need to. If not, let's go. Okay, inspired action model. Before I walk you through this model, the first thing to do is get crystal clear on which goal you are setting. Pick one and write it here on page 51. There is a space for you to write my goal is, my aligned accomplishment is. Couple of lines, clear, concise, simple, life-changing, whatever you want. Do not let time, money, anything be, what would you create if time, effort, energy, money, and the wounding chatter in your brain wasn't telling you everything? What do you want? Write it down there. And then here's the disclaimer. Only read on if you are ready to take inspired action. Actually, only listen on because you guys are listening. To take inspired action, be pulled, magnetized towards your purpose. You're ready to struggle to sleep because you're so excited and have the to-do lists that are so compelling that once you finally fall asleep, you want to wake up early to get a head start. That's been my experience so many times. I still sleep well, let's face it. I'm a great sleeper, got all the hypnos that support me in that. But when I'm on an aligned accomplishment and I'm deep in it, like this audiobook, I decided I was in the foulest mood when I woke up this morning, felt terrible, screamed at my kids, don't tell anyone. Just being honest here, I was in a terrible mood. I don't feel like I'd accomplished anything lately. Things have been tough, reminding myself of the work. And I sat down, I did everything I've just told you guys to do, and the whisper came in, didn't it? Right before my massage, as I was sitting there drinking my coffee, looping in some other thoughts, doing my alignment audit, daily deep dive. Today's the day. Got to do the audiobook. The wounding, the brain's like, I've only just sent the pre-sale books out. It's not time to do that yet. What's your goal and what's your dream? Oh, I would like do this question. I want my goal and dream would to have all the co-authors speak out their own chapter. And guess what's going to happen? I would say the majority, the ones that have got back to me, this is like real time. Yep, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. Let's go. This morning, guys, I'm nearly finished reading. I think I've got 4 chapters in here. Audiobook is going to be done skis because I follow this model. Anyway, enough about me. This is how it works. Only read on if you're ready. If you're really ready to make the change, because you follow this method, you have me as a coach, and you're within this community, things happen fast. Okay, so you're going to turn to page 52, and there's a visual model on there that aligns with the book, obviously, and with the podcast. It's called goal setting. Get what you want. Nice and clear. What do you want? This is where we need to align with the whisper before the wounding, because so many of you are going for things that you want, goals and accomplishments, and you're getting surface success. You're having that cocktail of you get the success, you win the race, you get the promotion, you get an A on the exam, whatever it is for you, and it's surface success. Next day or 2 or 3, you're looking for that fulfillment and that dopamine hit again. I did it. It's in my first book, Rise Up, The Soulful Guide to Success. Got a gold medal in the national titles as the fastest swimmer, as the Australian schoolgirl titles. I was the fastest swimmer in Australia for my age. I was happy for about 2 weeks, and then I was like, what next? It was just not fulfilling. So it wasn't what I did, like my soul deeply wanted. And so we need to ensure this is in alignment and coming from your whisper. If it's not, it'll be shown pretty clearly. What do you want? And then we've got the model, and it's action, ACTION. Each of those letters stand for something. I'll move through them now. A, goal set. What do you want? You've got to get clear. Let me know what you want. Send me an email, connect@those2sisters.com, so I can follow your journey and I can witness you and I can cheer for you. I can be your cheerleader. A, in the action model, stands for aligned. Is it your goal or someone else's? Is it aligned with you and your whisper? The C stands for community. Can you make this about someone else? It's not just about me writing my book or me standing on stage and feeling famous. It's like, what if my book could support another woman or heal another family? One paragraph, one word. Actually, I'll share the examples in a bit. I'll just go through this now. A, aligned. C, community. Can you make it about someone else? T, talk about it. Speak as if it's already happened. I, imagine it. Imagine it daily with all of your senses. O, own it. Own the identity of it. N, now. It's not about the how, it's about the now. What can you do right now to move one step closer to this goal? That is the key. So now what I'm going to do is read through that again and give you the example so you can picture it, you can feel it, and you can see how it happens in real time. This part is not written in the book. You're only hearing this if you're getting the audio version. I created this model on this book. I was on a group coaching call with all my high-end clients, and a message, my whisper came through that morning on my morning walk, Diane, it's time for the 3rd book. My wounding was like, no, I don't have time. I just don't have the energy left for that. It's a pretty big commitment. And then I was teaching them about aligned accomplishment. We were moving through things, and some of them were setting fairly hefty goals or aligned accomplishments. And I was like, okay, actually, yes, I'm going to listen to that whisper and I'm going to do it with you. I created this whole model by looking at what I've already done in the past and reverse engineering it and then using it to get this book out. I got this book out pretty much in 3 months, and Christmas was in there. There was shutdowns. There was all sorts of things happening. From the moment I said I'm going to write my 3rd book, keeping in mind my husband works away. He's a pilot, in and out. I don't know if I'm after him for most days. Running a full-time business, got a team of 5. I've got 2 kids, in and out with sports and this and that. I've got 2 cats, and, quite frankly, I didn't have the time. But I did it. And then on the next morning walk, I'm like, this is my 3rd book. People have heard enough from me. They don't need to hear any more from Diane McKendrick. How would it feel if I could offer out the chapters to my clients, other aligned women, giving their version of what it is and how it's worked for them and where they've been and where they've come to? Once again, the wounding, you're never going to get people to agree to that. People aren't going to pay for that. It's not blah, 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 blah. Followed this model. 3 months later, 7 co-authors. The book is printed in my hand. It is not perfect, but it is done. Audio getting done within the 4 months. Pre-sales done. Almost 100 books sold in the pre-sale. So there's nothing unique and special about me. We're all unique and special. But people look at me and what I've achieved and think that there's something special about me. The special thing is that I know some things and I follow the method. I find the thing that works for me and my vision and my creativity and my personality. If I can't find it, I'll create it. Same as a community. When I became a mum, I couldn't find a community that had similar values to me. They all wanted to sit around and eat cake and bitch and whinge about their husband, which is fine, but I didn't want to do that. They all looked at me like I had two heads when I said, well, you said you want to lose 10 kilos. How about we meet next week and go for a walk? Instead, I didn't add this bit in my head, but I was like, instead of eating cake, they all looked at me like I had friggin' six heads. I was like, okay, I'll go for a walk myself. And that's where my personal training business was born. I trained other mothers who had kids who had similar values to me. I created my own community. I couldn't find one that I fitted into. So I'll create a method to suit myself. And then I'm attracting people with similar nature to me where my methods work for them. If you're listening to this book, that is you. That is you. Okay, so I'm going to give you the examples. Action, ACTION. A is for aligned. Check your goal for alignment. Is it yours or is it someone else's? Is it borrowed from family, social media, or society? Please make sure this is your goal, that this is your aligned accomplishment. Sometimes we can go through this process a few times before you realize that's not really my goal. And I want you to think of something you've accomplished in the past that gave you surface success and the feeling of fulfillment didn't stay. That sometimes, as an example, people who get a lot of surface success out of exams and getting top marks on exams, it's because for all of us, and it just manifests in a different way, we want to make our parents proud. We're going to be more loved if I win the gold medal or if I get the A+. And that's not in alignment with you. That's in alignment with making your parents proud. So that's the example there. You want to pick something that's in deep alignment and your body will tell you, your whisper will tell you. C is the community. Can you make it about someone else? When you accomplish this goal, here's the key question: who else's life will it affect? And connect with them now. That many times when I've been doing big things, I would sit when I'm being faced with challenges and the shit's hitting the fan, I've got stuff going everywhere and I'm in a crisis of confidence. I would sit and go, there is a lady out there right now that needs this message. And I would close my eyes and I would feel her, attune to her. And the moment I was like, if I could just offer up one sentence, one paragraph to make her life easier, then it is now my duty to get this done. And that would be the guiding force for me. So community, can you make it about someone else when you accomplish this goal? Whose life will it affect? Connect with them now. Another example of this is when I wrote my first book, guys, I was petrified. I don't know who's been on the journey from them, but I was completely debilitated. I was so scared that my whole body was affected physiologically. My neck jammed up on my writing retreat, which caused me chronic pain. And I was thinking things like looping, I can't spell, I can't afford it, couldn't afford it. Gus told me he'd get a second job, but we made it work. I don't know how. That's been a big one for me. And another big one, who am I to write a book? What are people going to think? The moment I made it about the woman or the family I could support with the content in the book, and I connected to her, like I just told you, when I genuinely made it about supporting her, publishing my book became a must. It was like this click of a switch, and I stopped making it about myself and my not enoughs, or I don't know how, or I can't do it, or I can't spell, or whatever the hell it was. And I made it about her. And a very powerful moment, creative life force like pulsed through me. It was like something switched on in me and I was pulled, I was driven. It was beyond my physical body. So that's a C, community, make it about someone else. Who else's life will it affect? Connect with them now. T, speak as though it's already happened. Language is powerful, so we want to be able to use it wisely. Back in the day, I was holding, some of you might remember this, half-day workshops called the 6 Steps to Soul Success. And during this powerful workshop, we would give the 6 steps to our clients and offer them at the end to join us for a retreat. And I would often talk about my 10K packages. And Michelle said to me, my older sister said to me, you can't say that. You're lying. You don't actually have a 10K package. And I said, yeah, I know, but I'm not lying. I'm manifesting. I had a goal of making a 10K package so I could include the retreat and coaching and serve my people and have that fair exchange. So I started to speak it into existence. And the first couple of times, yes, it felt awkward, it felt untrue, it felt like I was lying, but it was a discomfort I was prepared to meet to be in full service. And this was my first step in having the courage to offer, because if I hadn't been talking about it, it wouldn't have felt safe in my central nervous system to then offer it as an invitation for people to buy it. Yeah, but it was talking about it like that gave me the courage to offer it and then sell my first of many, many, many 10K packages. And guys, on the first day I offered it, we sold 5, and all those people paid in full. All from just starting to talk about something that just felt impossible. Like, yes, now 10+K packages is my new normal, but a couple of years ago, that was ludicrous. That was absolutely ludicrous to think that I could receive that amount of money for who I am and what I do and what I offer up. And now it's far beyond that. It all started with talking talk. Oh my gosh, it doesn't have to be rocket science. This stuff is not rocket science. It just takes a lot of awareness and a lot of courage. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Imagine. I stands for imagine. Imagine it daily with all of your senses. Your brain doesn't know the difference between an actual memory and something you vividly imagine. So you eating breakfast this morning, guessing most of you ate breakfast this morning, and that's already happened. And you going to bed tonight, which actually hasn't happened yet, is the same to your brain. Do you understand the power of that? I use that a lot. It's one of the NLP, neuro-linguistic practices. So with every big goal that I set, full retreats, publishing books, speaking on stages, I would sit in silence every morning and I would imagine the exact moment that I know that I achieved the goal that I set. I would add all my senses, what I could see, hear, feel, smell, how my clothes felt, how I was breathing, all of it. And I would build out that moment like it was happening now. Even to the point when my first book arrived on my doorstep, I had 500 first-time author. My mum and dad were here helping me unpack them. And they were like, this is a pretty cool thing, you've done this. And I was like, yeah, thank you. They said, you don't seem that excited. And I realized in that moment, because I had made it real every single day that I decided to do it. I was doing this process. I was allocating 10 minutes every morning. I didn't have a name for it back then. 10 minutes every morning to imagine signing my book, handing it to someone. I moved, like in manifesting, I moved space in my garage that was just full of crap. It was a big deal, actually. Moved space to put 500 books before I even wrote my first word of my first book. So by the time they landed on the doorstep, I had lived it that many times that it just felt the same every single time. So that's how powerful that is. The next one is O, own it, own the identity. Take bold action to declare it to the universe that this is the path for you. So the best and most ballsy example of this is when I wrote a book about being a millionaire mum long before I was one. I boldly declared my goal to the universe, my aligned accomplishment, and then I allowed real time to catch up. I also had 500 books printed with the Amazon bestseller badge long before it went bestseller. Not only did it go bestseller, this is Millionaire Mum, but it won 32 categories, including business, finance, economics, time management, and it knocked all the fellow entrepreneurs like Alex Hormozi, Tim Ferriss, and one of our favorites, Tony Robbins, yay, knocked them all off the podium. So my first book, Rise Up, went bestseller in like all the fluffy feminine and parenting, motherhood categories. But my goal was that I wanted one of my books that is quite spiritual, to go like at the top of the masculine business, like hardcore business and economics, like energetics has a place there. And not many people are talking about it yet. And this is something I do, me and Michelle do, Michelle and I, sorry, Mum. Michelle and I do really well is energetics of business. So energetics of business, Millionaire Mum, manifesting it, went to the top of the category of all of them, knocked them all off. So that was incredible. And I had 300 Aligned Woman Way printed with the bestseller on it before it went bestseller, in manifestation of it happening. Don't ask me what I would have done if it didn't go bestseller. But anyway, ballsy, courage. If this is the path for you, you're willing to stand up and own it and get it done. So own it. N, now. It is not about the how, it's about the now. Break down the goal until you have bite-sized tasks that you can do right now to move one step closer. So what I did with this when I wrote my first book, I heard the whisper, then I had no idea. But I asked myself, once again, I didn't realize what I was doing. I was like, I don't know how to write a book. So I asked myself, what do I know how to do? So instead of getting stuck in the loop, I don't know how, and the brain going, yeah, you're an idiot, you don't know how, you're useless, you don't know how. I was like, what do I know how to do right now? I was like, I do know how to pick up the phone and call someone. I do know how to ask questions. So I went through anyone that I heard had written a book, had thought about writing a book, people who had published it. And within 24 hours, I came across my book mentor. And funnily enough, she was having a half-day workshop the very next week. It was like quickly. I didn't know how I was going to pay for it, but what I did know is how to book in and rock up to the workshop. So I booked in and I rocked up to the workshop. I didn't know how I was going to take the next step, but what I did know is how to have a conversation with a lady. So I chatted to her and took the next step. What do I know how to do? What do I know how to do? What do I know how to do? The way that I've set this up for you, a whole module on the app, is we reverse engineer it and you get slideshows and spreadsheets and audios and hypnosis. Like if you take this method, there is no way you will not get your aligned accomplishment, and probably pretty quickly as well. You've just got to choose it. So now, it's not about the how, it's about the now. What can I do right now? What do I know how to do? Once you've completed all of these things and are in the zone, I've got the spreadsheet that I mentioned as part of the process where you can reverse engineer right back to the manageable tasks that you can do right now. Not tonight, not tomorrow, today, right now in this moment. Press record on the audio. I wasn't ready. I wasn't perfect. I had a massage today. I'm looking daggy as. My voice is a bit raspy because it's just cold. Like the weather's turned and it's coming on cold and I'm starting to get half of a cold. It didn't matter. What can I do right now? I know how to press record. I know how to read a chapter. 3, 2, 1, go. If you listen to the back of the beginning of this book, you'll notice it's probably a bit clunky and I stumbled a bit more and I was reading more than conversing with you. But it's done and I'm now nearly up to chapter 4 and it's been in one afternoon, one day. The whisper came through this morning. So guys, today, right now in this moment, gives this process the structure. It needs to be manageable and measurable. I fucking hate that word, but it matters in business. And give yourself accountability, which also matters. Let's face it, we're all laying our heads on the pillow at night, feeling productive. We all like laying our heads on the pillow at night, feeling more productive and seeing those ticks down our get to do list. If you follow this process, you will accomplish some of the most insane, incredible results. And what's even crazier is that when your central nervous system recalibrates and these wild, impossible dreams become your new normal, something magical happens with the magnetism in your life. Can't put it into words. But now you have the ingredients you need to put together in the right order and the quantities to get the best results. So once you have 1, gotten clear on your goal, 2, listen to the podcast number 151, 3, read and embodied what I just read out to you. It is time to rewire your mind. Once again, I love giving out freebies. So you have free access to the Get and Set Your Goal hypnosis. Send us a message, same email at connect@thosetwosisters.com, sharing your goal. So share with me your aligned accomplishment and your goal and ask for the hypno. Our team will give you access. This is an absolute game changer for me personally and for my clients. If you work with me on any level and follow this magical model, or actually I like to call it a super model, life will change and it will change very quickly. Get ready for the change.